we decided to do the podcast, to do the divine intervention, and it's been very, very successful because we have been receiving a lot of messages from girls, from people that are really, really being very helpful, our podcast. So I'm really happy to be with Sofia. She's a very mature and she's a very uh, good witch too.
I love that. The good witches, good witches. She said witch, everybody, WITCH, just in case of our different accents that we have. And I want to say something, that you were doing, it was, I don't remember what day number of the 40 Days of Prayer in Action was, but I remember seeing you both on video, right? And all the people were there. And you were talking about is the divine intervention. And then the next week. This is so important, everyone, because this podcast is not only called Divine Intervention because their podcast of Sophie and Grace Terry is called that. This is also because there was divine intervention. Yes, I may have invited them. I may have created this divine mistake of bringing Sofia Grace together and, giving them this platform, right? That had for many years have these people that are loyal followers and incredible faith in action takers. But this is the key. They had a revelation. They had an intuition. They received a message. Let's create a podcast. And they did it, I think, in a week. So, Sophie, tell me, how was the process of creating it? How fast?
Well, first, I want to say that the energy I could feel that day that we did our first transmission, that first divine intervention, was amazing. The synchronicity that we could feel between the two of us. So I think that's the first thing that makes you think, maybe this can turn into something amazing because you're feeling that sensation of the flow in the words, of the flow in the stories, and knowing that Grace and I have these same interestings on finding things about the sky, about astrology, about different type of witch stuff, about tarot, about cards. So we find out that we really could make something work. And when the working, divine intervention, the people started like commenting on the video, like, wow, yes, the divine intervention. And it was the excitement of the people what made us think like, we should totally do this. We should totally start doing the divine intervention. And that same day, we saw you, Yvonne. We were going to have lunch together, I think. And we were all of us in such synchronicity for this to happen that we decided to start at that moment. We were traveling in San Miguel de Allende, beautiful place in Mexico. If you haven't been there, I recommend you to go. Maybe you'll have a divine intervention in San Miguel de Allende. And from there, we went to Texcoco. Grace, like Yvonne, you didn't come with us, but Grace did. And that's when we recorded our first episode, just introducing ourselves, talking about ourselves. And so, like, a lot of people may think that creating a podcast can be difficult, but we actually find that by flowing, things are very easy. We just have to sit there, talk, make jokes of each other. And then in finding the colors for the podcast, in finding the image, everything just came flowing. And little by little, we have been shared by our friends, by the people who have worked with us, by the people who follow us because of the work we do. And they have loved it. We have received incredible messages, as Grace said, of gratitude about how much the podcast have helped them. And we just do what we love, which is letting people know that the magic we talk about every day, it's something that everyone else can achieve. And it's something that everyone else can have. And I think that's what makes a podcast so interesting, because we like sharing our tips or our tools to be able to connect with this magic.
And
Wow, I love this. So, Grace, yes, please.
I want to say something that is really interesting, that we have a very different age. I mean, Sophie is a young woman and I am a mature woman. So it's been very interesting to see how we connect as a women without minding the age gap, because her wisdom is beyond time, beyond age. And I
I
love that.
know.
Share that.
Grace's wisdom is beyond age and time too. Thank you.
I say that all of your wisdoms go together, are beyond. I love this. I love the camaraderie, and I love this. You know what it feels for me, and I think this is the podcast that I'm talking all magic, divine intervention, because with you both, I can totally, relax into these topics. Even though this podcast, I want to approach it as a very practical spirituality. This is what I love about you both. The magic, the tarot, the stars, the astrology, you make it be so grounded. You don't go all over like Sophie. I don't see her going like, I'm going to do astrology and I'm going to not have a beautiful house and not going to fashion. I love that Sophie loves fashion. I love that it's an integrated spirituality that is every day, that is a practical thing that humans can actually give themselves permission to experience magic in everything. I see you both as really futuristic, really mystic, but also really fun. And I love, love, love that about you. And yeah, Grace, sometimes I forget the age of Sophie. I'm like, wait a second, Yvonne, you're 50. She's 25. Let her, she's probably, I hope she's going to have fun this weekend and not be working for the network or DTI right now.
But I think that age difference between Grace and I is what allows us to go into so many different topics and to have so much fun. Because
Say some more. Why? Tell us why.
One of the most funny things is how from our age difference, we use different language. We talk about different things. We have different interests in things. So when we come and talk about magic, Grace has one perspective, I have one perspective. We can blend together, and then we can find like that point in the middle that can work for everyone who is listening to us. And also, I mean, the jokes are amazing. We have fun.
The jokes. What type of jokes, Grace? You are very quiet, and you are the founder of the Infinite Voice Academy. Talk to us. So, how's your experience? Besides, yes, I agree, Grace. Sophie is like, there's a force, there's like a magnetic field, something, and it's so empowering to see someone. How old are you, Sophie? I keep forgetting.
Ooh, I'm 26.
26 years old. She has a work ethic, like unbelievable work ethic. She's always looking to improve things. In my experience of working with her, she's always innovating, which I love, and she takes responsibility like we all do, of like if we make like most mistakes that I do is like poor grammar. Oh my gosh, between Spanglish and Gramish and spiritualish and all of that, so we are always, like assuming responsibility, and she's so responsible. But I love that she also likes to have fun. So Grace, tell me now, talk to me, girls, about divine intervention. What has been things that you can tell people that you haven't told in your podcast that you say like, oh my gosh, this is divine intervention, this is happening right now? Tell us a little bit of examples, Grace.
Well, I'm thinking we have a couple of them, because I think we are right now. It's going to be the 10 episode or something like that. So, every time we just pop out and let's say what we're going to talk about it, and we come with the instant ideas of what's happening in our lives. So one of the things that we really do is talking about our experiences of life, which is very interesting because Sophie's younger and has obviously less experience in life, but she comes with this wisdom that put in perspective everything that I am talking about. And then we go with the tarot cards or the astrology, which we both love. So we make it like a very mundane thing, not only mystical. So it can be applied to everyday's life. And because we really think that divine intervention is just being alive. Don't you think, Sophie?
Wow.
I'm the same. Wow. The mic drop, Grace. I love that. The divine intervention is just being alive. Well, that's definitely an intervention. Because imagine how many sperms got in the fight, in the race, and then one made it and said, "Yeah, I'm going to spark this egg, and we're going to create this Bibeka code, and we're going to create Sophie, and create Grace, and create Yvonne," and then the shenanigans began.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think one of the main things of the podcast is really letting you find all those divine interventions in your daily life. And talking about our divine interventions, like us, we are a divine intervention right now. Grace, Yvonne, and I, each one of us, for each one of us, if that makes sense. And then everything we experience is just that divine intervention that is taking us into our right path.
I love that. That we are the divine intervention of other persons. Imagine if we really think about that every day in our world. Wow, this is going to be a divine planet, which already is, but we haven't figured out how to do it. All the humanity, talking about humanity in general. But this is amazing. I mean, I love to talk with you and Sophie, Yvonne.
Oh. This is turning into like a master class. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what are your goals with your podcast. Where do you wanna? I know you are in the flow. I know you are receiving the guidance as you go, but have you? What are people's responses? What do you perceive and feel the future wants you to create with this?
Okay, I'm starting. For me, I think that it's the people to realize how powerful is their intuition, because intuition is totally related to divine intervention. When you follow your heart, when you follow your insights, when you follow that thing that calls you, that is the divine intervention. And if you follow, synchronicity will start to happen and magic will arise in your life every day.
Beautiful. How about you, Sophie? What do you think?
I love what Grace said about activating that divine intervention. And totally, what I want most of this podcast is to make it a safe space for everyone. I've noticed that there are a lot of people who are like in the spiritual closet. What do I mean by spiritual closet? They are afraid of saying, "Hey, I meditate. Hey, I kind of
Yeah.
have these visions. I sometimes believe there's something bigger than me." And they're afraid of talking about these topics and showing that there's people like Yvonne, Grace, me, who we freely talk about this. And we truly believe in all of this stuff and everything that the connection with your intuition can evolve into. I just want to offer that safe space for
I
people
love
to
that.
talk about this. And lately, we have introducing live streams instead of podcast episodes some
Mm.
weeks. And when we do
Yes.
the live streams, I can see that coming into our reality. How that transmission we are giving becomes a safe space for people to just
Right.
type into the comments, start talking about their experiences, and it becomes a conversation with us and the public and the audience of the video about all of our divine interventions and that community we are creating. It's part of what Grace say, having a divine planet.
Oh, I
Totally.
love that. I love that. I love what you're saying and creating community. And you both are very aimed to that. And you tend to attract a lot of community too that they feel safe with you both. And I had a question, but just noticing how you are growing and evolving into this and into the divine intervention. What are the things, and I'll ask this one now to Grace, what are the things that you can help people with for them to notice the divine interventions difference in their lives? How will they be feeling? And the second thing that I want to say, just like kind of writing with what Sophie was saying about the spiritual closet. How important is that, Sophie? Right now, there's a lot of people, not